So, our lesson today is about mental health. And basically, mental health is the state of well being in which a person realizes their abilities can cope or have an effect on the normal stresses of life.
Okay, in order to fully grasp the concept of mental health, let's first understand the general meaning of it, why it exists, as well as the different types of mental health. So, mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood. Why does it exist? Well, there is no exact answer to this question, other than it is the body's one of many ways of keeping it healthy and well functioning. Like a physical injury, when you break a bone, for example, that certain part will become inflamed and painful because it's the body's way of showing you that it is damaged and that it needs time to heal by itself. Slightly off topic, but Atishalla's dad always says that the body is the most powerful medicine for itself. Because despite there being man made medicines and cures around the world, they're really just stepping stones for the body to get a head start at healing itself because different people's immune systems are in different levels of strength. So one could have a strong immune system but not strong enough to heal a certain infection. Thus, man-made medicines are actually healing you on their own, but they're rather stepping stones for the body. Emotional health. So the different types of mental health, like what I just said about the meaning of mental health, there's emotional health, psychological, which is a certain change in behavior, thoughts, more detailed understanding of the brain's health, as well as social health, which is basically how healthy your social life is. There's another term for emotional health, which is emotional intelligence. Example, if someone throws tantrums often, their emotional health may not be in the best condition. One of the most common causes for weaker emotional health is stress. Stress could lead you to so many problems if not treated well, not just mentally, but also physically. The top common illnesses are depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and eating disorders, to name most of them. Now, emotional intelligence is really all about controlling your emotions, patience, and empathy. The first step to really be able to control your emotions is recognizing that emotion itself. What makes you mad? What makes you annoyed? And then what makes you annoyed and what makes you sad? Why does it make you mad, annoyed, or sad? If you're able to answer these questions with full confidence, then that means you're starting to develop the ability of controlling your emotions, which is good. Give yourself a pat on the back. However, before you even ask those questions and answering them, you also need to understand what exactly you're feeling. You could be feeling a certain emotion that seems similar to sadness, but it's actually different, like emptiness, for example, which is the feeling of numbness. It's an emotion when you don't feel any emotions. Ironic, right? Of course, it's hard to explain and understand unless you've actually experienced it yourself. It's a feeling when you're lying in the bed and you're bored, but you don't know what to do. And whichever you resort on doing, you actually don't feel like doing it. It's to the point where you spend an entire day doing nothing but regretting not doing anything, even though you felt like you should. Happiness, sadness, anger, disgust, and fear are the five basic emotions, and within each of those five emotions are possibly hundreds of different emotions, like emptiness being part of sadness. You could say those five basic emotions are categories. Learning about more emotions and self-awareness will help you go a long way of increasing your emotional intelligence, as well as keep a stable emotional health. For example, if you spill coffee or juice on your shirt, of course you're going to feel some form of anger. But if you notice that you're going to feel angry, you can start to think of what you should do so it won't ruin your day, like changing it into a different shirt, for example. That goes for helping someone out as well. If they spill a drink on their shirt, you can help them fix that problem because you're aware of what they're feeling. That is called empathy. Social health. I'll be talking about psychological health as that goes more. I will not be talking about psychological health as that goes more in depth about the brain, and we don't have enough time today to cover it. So I'll skip about that part and talk about social health. Social health is just as its name says, it's all about your social life. How you create friendship, relationships, connections, how well you maintain those connections, how will you communicate with people, how you'll handle social life, so on and so forth. Very straightforward, right from the get-go, but just like emotional intelligence, it goes a lot deeper than that. Social health plays a big role in our overall health. As human beings, we automatically have the need to connect with others as we know that our social life goes along with personal lifestyle, and yet we fail to actually acknowledge that. And no, I don't mean you need to talk to every single person you see or automatically become friends with every person you meet. I mean creating meaningful connections that can play a role in our lifestyle. Becoming friends with a classmate just because you only see them in school does impact your experience in school, but it doesn't actually impact your entire general well-being. You can always take that connection to the next level and bond with that certain classmate outside of school. After all, people who have meaningful connections with others often eat healthier and exercise more because relying on other people as your support and happiness does help better manage stress. Those who have a weak social network and are more isolated, commonly known as antisocial, they're more likely to develop mental illnesses and even physical illnesses. In conclusion, having a great and stable social health helps us live life to the fullest. Okay, signs your mental health is getting worse. Number one, you're losing interest in the little things. Number two, you get overwhelmed easier. Three, you don't feel like socializing anymore. Four, you don't have a consistent sleep schedule. Five, you always feel drained. Six, your anxiety seems to be increasing. Seven, you feel mentally and emotionally scattered. Eight, you can't seem to pay attention. Nine, you might be struggling with impulse control. And lastly, 10, you are struggling to feel grounded.
Hey Psych2Goers, welcome back to our channel. Do you ever feel like your life just isn't going the way that you want? Are you unmotivated or burnt out from everyday living? Nowadays, it can be so hard to set healthy habits and goals for yourself when things seem to be going a million miles an hour. Between school activities, work, and hobbies, it can be difficult to figure out what to prioritize. However, there are some general rules that if you stick to, will greatly improve your mindset and habits. So with that said, here are 6 life-changing rules to follow every day. Number 1, if possible, sleep early. Have you stayed up late to cram for a test the next day? Most people don't realize how important sleep is. For example, according to a UCLA study, sacrificing sleep for extra review time is counterproductive. Students from several Los Angeles high schools reported in diaries how long they studied, how long they slept, and whether or not they experienced academic problems. They found that diminishing sleep in order to study was actually associated with doing more poorly on a test, quiz, or homework, which was the opposite of the student's intent. What this means is that you should try to prioritize sleep to keep yourself happy and healthy. Number 2, avoid social media in the mornings. Do you use social media first thing in the morning when you get up? While social media is a fun way to stay connected, using it too often can end up doing more harm than good. For example, you may start to compare yourself with various influencers and celebrities. You could also start fixating on the number of likes you get, and if it doesn't seem like a lot, you might get caught up in a negative thought spiral. These harmful mindsets are especially damaging in the morning because that's what sets the tone of your day. Are you going to wake up feeling refreshed and ready to seize the moment, or let social media bring you down? Number 3, believe in yourself while being aware of your limitations. You've likely heard the phrase, anything is possible, but sometimes it can be better to accept your losses than force something that's not meant to be. For example, if a relationship gets to the point where it causes you constant stress, fear, and exhaustion, consider whether it's still worth pursuing. Similarly, if chasing a dream job makes you feel drained and anxious all the time, ask yourself whether it's really worth sacrificing your emotional well-being for. The bottom line is that while having faith in yourself is important, it shouldn't be blind. Instead, it should be balanced with your limitations. Number 4, make time for learning. Do you have any hobbies? If so, what are they? Hobbies are a great way to stay mentally stimulated. As you grow up, it's important to find things outside of work or school that you're passionate about. That way you can lead a more balanced, engaging life. It could be anything from playing an instrument to cooking, as long as you enjoy it. Number 5, treat others how they want to be treated. Don't get this confused with the phrase treat others how you want to be treated. While it makes sense in some scenarios, it can make more sense to treat others how they want to be treated. What may work with you might not be the best as what works for others. For example, you could enjoy being told things straightforward, but that could be too direct and harsh to the friend you're talking to. You have to take their feelings into account too, and adjust accordingly. After all, no two people are alike, so why treat everyone exactly the same? And number 6, stay positive. When things go wrong, is it your first instinct to imagine worst case scenarios? Our brains have the tendency to make situations seem a lot worse than they are. And many times we only realize this long after the fact. So while it may be hard, try to stop your gut instinct of immediately jumping into a negative thought spiral. That way you stress yourself out less and are much more likely to make calm, rational decisions. Do you think these rules will help you through your everyday living? If so, which ones and how? Feel free to comment down below with your thoughts, suggestions, or experiences. If you found this video helpful, like and share it with friends that might find it valuable too. Remember to subscribe to Psych2Go and hit the notification bell for more content. All the sources used are added in the description box below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
It's that time of year again. We students are back in school, working on projects, writing papers, and with exams just around the corner. Nothing is more relatable than stress. I am stressed. You are stressed. We all are in some way. And it's actually okay to be stressed. In fact, stress is our response to changes in our environment, giving us a signal to adapt to the changes in our lives. Our bodies release hormones that prepare us to deal with these changes, or in some situations, run away from the problem. As university students, it is important for us to realize that we are here to learn and grow. And with that comes various challenges, and no challenge comes without stress. We can define stress as a positive or negative element to our mental health. But if we recognize stress as a positive and adaptive signal to our mental health, stress can be used to our benefit, promoting growth, success, and prosperity. How stress affects our mental health, excluding extreme or special circumstances, is generally within our power. Identifying the cause of the stress and adapting to it in a healthy and effective manner will not only improve our mental state, but also give you a new sense of appreciation of your body's stress response. In addition, every time we are presented with a daily stressor and are forced to adapt to it, our mental state is fortified and ready to adapt to potential stressors. Having said that, while some stress can be beneficial for our growth and success, when we have too much stress for an extended period of time without allowing ourselves time to recharge, that is when stress begins to take a toll on our overall health. Recharging is a healthy action and encourages sustainability of our crazy busy student lives. Listening to music, chatting with people you care about, disconnecting from social media. These are just some of the ways that you can recharge in a healthy manner, guilt-free. You need to be accountable for your health and forgive yourself if you feel you are not performing to your best ability due to multiple stressful events going on in your life. As much as our bodies like and require social interaction, we may also need some time to ourselves to focus and reestablish a clear mindset. This doesn't have to be sending yourself to solitary confinement. You can spend time with friends. You could go outside to spend time in nature. Or you could do something creative, such as going to a painting class. The most important part is to do anything that helps ground you and prepare you for your goals. As we mentioned earlier, most everyday stress is normal and is a signal to adapt to something in our lives. It helps us get through obstacles in our lives, but it can be unhealthy when we have too much over a long period and neglect the basics. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, and connecting with others. Adapting to stress leads to a more and more resilient mind and improved coping skills. Everyone's stressors and reactions to stress are very different. It may take some time to learn what works for you, but keep trying and try not to stress about it. So, what is stressing you or are you stressing about today? What would you do differently to combat your stress? This project was made possible by UBC's Social Impact Lab and its partners. For more details, check the video description.
Hey, Psych2Goers. Do you lack the energy to do things you once loved? Or maybe you feel like you're dragging yourself to finish your work. If so, you may be experiencing burnout. Burnout can also emerge in more mysterious ways. Here are 7 signs of burnout that you shouldn't ignore. Number 1, you're anxious about your work. Do you feel like stress is preventing you from doing well at work? Feeling anxious before a big test or a major presentation is normal. But if you feel a pervasive sense of anxiety daily, a constant sense of dread can manifest in more serious ways and lead you towards burning out more quickly. Anxiety can exhibit symptoms like chest tightness, nausea, or even meltdowns, compromising your ability to function at work. If you feel that your anxiety persists long after work hours, it may be time to reevaluate how you feel about your job and find things that you can control to provide a sense of stability. Number 2, you're experiencing insomnia. What thoughts fill your head as you fall asleep? Is it with excitement or dread? Just like how an animal in the wild can't sleep when predators are around, you may find it hard to sleep when you dread what's coming the following morning. According to a BMJ open study conducted by Arnaud Metlane and a team of French psychologists, insomnia has a very strong association with burnout. This could be one reason why people who feel burnt out can seem tired and weary. Aerobic exercise can help improve these sleeping habits and help you clock more quality hours of sleep. Number 3, your performance is dipping. Do you feel like you're not keeping up with your tasks at work? Burnout can be noticeable based on how well you do your work. Has there been a considerable decrease in the quality of your work? If you feel like it's harder to concentrate on your tasks or you're starting to lack creativity, you might be experiencing chronic burnout. You can combat this by going for a walk in nature or spending more time to yourself by time blocking tasks. Alternatively, switching your job or position might be worth considering as well. Number 4, you feel drained around people. Does being around coworkers or groups irritate you? When work is the only thing in your mind, you can start drifting away from your friends and family. You may start to engage in more conflict at home, irritated at your loved ones because they're making it hard for you to concentrate on work. You may also be on the verge of breaking down more often, especially if your work environment requires you to be at your best every day. This can make you feel more isolated. To combat this, you should find time to connect with your peers and try to spark connections with them again. Number 5, you feel physically ill. Do you feel like you're starting to develop health problems? Burnout doesn't just limit itself to mental duress. It also manifests in your body physically. According to a study by Tarani Chandala, people who are experiencing burnout run the risk of developing common ailments including diabetes, stroke, and heart disease. People who are on the verge of burning out also have a higher risk of substance abuse, which in itself increases the risk of various health issues. Number 6, you don't have time for yourself. Are you constantly bombarded with a never-ending stream of tasks? Working for longer hours every week can take a toll on your physical and mental health. Even if you feel like you have all the energy in the world at the start, the work can slowly engulf you and wear you down. You can prevent crashing and burning by taking a breather and spending some time zoning out from work. Going to a park, playing with your pets, or calling your friends in your downtime can be a refreshing pick-me-up break from work. And number 7, you feel a pervasive sense of unhappiness. Are you happy with your work? No matter how much you've been praised by your managers and coworkers, if you feel burnt out, the words will feel hollow and meaningless. Burning out can lead to severe exhaustion and depression, which can also affect your life outside of work. Thankfully, it's reversible. By changing your environment, you can unplug and cultivate a better work-life balance with the things you're passionate about. Can you relate to any of the signs above? Are you feeling burnt out? Let us know in the comments section below. The references and studies used are listed in the description below. Also remember to like and share this video with those who might benefit from it. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time.
Okay, so here are some ways to deal with mental health if you are struggling with mental health. So number 1, talk about your feelings. This can definitely help you if you feel troubled, stressed, or have anxiety. Take a break. Now that school's starting, we're going to be piled up on homework again, so we are all going to need a break. Make sure to keep a healthy diet and exercise often. Keep in touch with loved ones to feel comforted, and remember God made you in a perfect image. You are loved by others, and you are never alone.
Okay, pop quiz. Let's see if you guys were paying attention. Okay, let's start with the first question. What are the 3 types of mental health? Type it in the chat. If you get it right, you get 1 point. Okay, you guys got it right. It's C, emotional, psychological, and social health. Let's move on to the second question. What is another word for emotional health? Good job. It is emotional intelligence. Okay, third question. Why does mental health exist? A, to understand the brain, B, to be smart, or C, to keep the body healthy and well functioning. Correct, it is C, to keep the body healthy and well functioning. Fourth question, what should you do to keep stable mental health? A, emotional control, recognizing and understanding the emotion. B, emotional rage, release whatever emotion you have so it doesn't pile up. Good
Sorry.
job, it is A.
No, you're good.
Okay, fifth question, what is emotional health all about? A, patience, empathy, and emotional control. B, understanding and controlling people's emotions. Or C, diagnosing people based on their negative emotions. Okay, it is A. Sixth question. Eating healthier and exercising more equals A, strong social network, B, happy lifestyle, C, living life to the fullest, or D, all of the above. It is D. Good job. Okay, seventh question. Are your emotions something to be ashamed from? A, no, everyone has them, or B, yes, hide them. It is A. Okay, eighth question. Why should you show your emotions? A, you shouldn't. B, it will help you. It will help your mental mindset and will help you open up more in general. C, emotions are cool. Or D, showing your emotions will make you crazy. You guys are doing a wonderful job. Okay. It is B. Okay, ninth question. How can mental health affect us? So there's multiple ways mental health can affect us. Okay, last question. What are some ways you can deal with mental health? So Samantha talked about this. Good job. Looks like you guys were paying attention. Okay.